And good morning, everyone. We'll get going in just a minute here. This is my pre roll that I run just long enough to let the pre roll ad go by. And we will get started after the clock on the wall finishes bong bong bonging 12 o'clock Pacific time. It's a cold, rainy day here in Southern Oregon. Hope everybody is doing all right. And we are almost ready to go for it. If you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and skip ahead in the video, and we will get going right now. Hey, good morning, y'all. Hope everybody is doing well on this fine Sunday morning. It is a typical cold day here in Southern Oregon, cold and rainy, and just typical for this time of year. So, hope everybody's doing well anyway. Welcome to live Q&A number 33. Holy cow, we're already up to 33 of these things. And we're going to talk today about the Aspire Only video that I put out this morning. Sorry to all the VCarve folks out there, but the tools that are used to make that barn star just aren't available in VCarve. And I'm sorry about that. The best bet that I can see so far, if you're a VCarve user, is to go ahead and find the model online. There are several models out there, and import it. So let me go ahead and we'll go down the list and do a roll call here and see who all is joining us. We have Steve Nealon from Harneal Media, webmaster to the stars, and the man who sponsors Mark Lindsay CNC.com. Good morning, Steve. How you doing? Jeff Rozak, Mohammed Saeed, Terry Hurst, Jim Chisnell, how you doing this morning? Kurt Briegel, how you doing today? Francisco Landrau, Dave Kraus, good to see you again, Dave. How you doing? Aaron Hansen, Glenn Hellweg, a sunny day in northeastern Michigan. Man, I'm jealous. Gary Hammett, how you doing today? Dwight Bennett, Kevin Els checking in from South Africa. Holy cow, I think you have the long distance award. Ayal Peleg from Israel. I'd have to check mileage because that's quite a distance too, but I think Kevin still has you beat there, Ayal. Ice Cream's checking in. I believe you're in Italy. Maybe Italy or Spain. I don't remember which. Please let me know. Ice Creams, how you doing today? Aaron Hansen, Bob Heltebridal, poster of all things funny, rude, crude, and socially unacceptable, but otherwise a good egg. William Finley, first time getting to sit down and watch a live. Welcome aboard, William. Glad to see you. Simon, and here's where Mark just doesn't know how to pronounce a last name, so I'll just leave it be. Good morning, Simon. Well, it's afternoon now. It's 3 minutes after. Warren Van Neel. I am not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. Augustine Diaz, Podman, Mike Smith, Alejandro Alvarez, Steve Gronsky. How you doing, Steve? Robert Filzen, William Finley, Over 60 Crafter. Okay, wait a minute here. Wish I could send you some of our amazing sunshine here in Trinidad and Tobago. Now you're just showing off. You know, excuse me, sir, but this is the non-gloating section. You know, Mario Medina from Tijuana. Eli Fuentes. Let's see, Jim Sullivan, Dave Matthews, S.K. Lucero, Baron Black, Dave Gatton, the man himself, live from Gatton Central. How you doing today? Dexter Williams, Pradeep Datta, Dave Matthews, I think I already said that. Mike Smith, Wolfram Herzog, Gary Clark, Robert Clark, you know who you are, and Luis Delgado and Clark Gerke. All right. I'm not even going to attempt, IL, but thank you for helping. Yeah, ice creams. Okay, hot sunny day in Italy, but with yeah, I I get you. I really I understand. I mean, I try to keep it light, but in light of all the stuff that's going on right now, it's very hard to do at times. I guess I'm kind of lucky in that I retired 2 years ago. My wife is retired, and don't even we don't go out much at all. We don't do many things. I mean, we go to a few places here and there, but we're homebodies. We've done our traveling, and so our lives really haven't been affected all that much. I mean, the convenience things, yeah, we can't go to a restaurant and sit down and have a meal, but we can still pick it up curbside and bring it home. I mean, we most everything we do is done right here, so we're kind of lucky in that regard. But I do hope everyone is safe and trying to stay healthy and trying to do whatever you can without going stir crazy. I get it. I really do. I get it. it's it's easy to go nuts, and I mean, if the Facebook memes or some of the videos being posted or any indicator as to everybody's mental state, I am worried about a few of y'all, but I think I we'll pull through it. There's no doubt in my mind, but just do what you can to stay safe, y'all. Um, Over 60 crafter lady here. Well, welcome aboard. I'm I don't really make any kind of a differentiation, male, female, all of the above, none of the above, whatever you want to be, whatever you are, whatever you like. You know, I don't think any I don't think anyone over another is better, worse, or indifferent. So all are welcome is what I'm saying. Let's see. I all set up here. I wonder, a few weeks ago, those we're at my 9 p.m. on both sides. Oh, okay. Yeah, you folks switched to daylight savings time. Yes, we did switch to daylight savings time, I all. But I believe it was a couple weeks before you folks did. So we made the switch. Now you just made the switch. So hopefully we're both on the same page. Glenn, I am funny. Yes, I am, Glenn. Thank you. But looks aren't everything. Um, do we have any questions at all? So far, I've been sitting here rambling, just trying to uh, keep it going. Okay, Dave Matthews says your video got me thinking about how I could do that in Fusion 360. I don't think it would be much harder. Dave, I know practically nothing about Fusion 360, so I wouldn't even know where to begin. I did download and start learning to use Fusion 360 many moons ago, and decided that it was just not the right software for me. It's a pretty big hammer for what I'm doing. If you mainly make parts for assemblies or structural components or something like that, it's the perfect program for that. But for the V carving and the small amount of 3D modeling I do, it's just way too much program. So I Dave Gatton years ago turned me on to VCarve Pro, and the first version of VCarve Pro I downloaded was the trial version of 7.5, and I used that for a while and started getting into it. And then when 8.0 came out, I bought it and never looked back. I tried using Rhino, which has a steeper learning curve than Fusion 360. I just like the simplicity of the Vectric software. I was introduced to AutoCAD and the IBM PC platform in the same week of 1997. And I've forgotten more about AutoCAD than I ever really learned. But I'm no expert with any software, but over the years I've become an expert at trying to learn software. And I can tell you from personal experience that the Vectric software has the gentlest learning curve of them all. It's just laid out the way you would think it was laid out. There aren't a bunch of hidden controls. And it's just easy to pick up on. It's easy to learn. So I've stuck with it, and it's just my software of choice. Okay, let's see. Hi, all Peleg. I was just about to say the same about Fusion 360, that it seemed to be easier to create this specific problem with Fusion 360. Well, yeah, that may be. It's basically, it's fairly simple in Aspire too. I mean, you're drawing two stars and then more or less connecting the dots. It's just, you know. Bob Hiltebridle, when you reduced to the second star, could you have used the offset tool, or would it have made a difference? You could. The main reason I copied and pasted instead of using the offset was so the start point and the direction the vector is drawn in would have been the same. Because it was a direct copy. When you offset, you may or may not be copying the start points. The jury's still out on why that happens, but sometimes the start point will be in the same corner or the same general area, but sometimes it won't. But by making a direct copy, you know it will. So, let's see. Ice creams. Why Aspire started with the deformed star and you needed to do the extra work to reach your shape. Okay, I did that just as a demonstration to show what that looked like. When I made that first deformed star, I was kind of redoing my first attempts at trying to model that 3D star. And you don't have to do that. I was just showing what that looked like. Now, some people may be happy and satisfied with that type of a 3D modeled star. And if you look around, you'll see them out there. And be careful, because I've seen some people who have modeled that exact star with all those little puckers and stuff like that. I've seen people say have exported that as a STL file and are selling it. That just wasn't the look that I was going for. So that was the only reason I showed that, was to show what that looked like with just by using the create an angular shape profile. The other way that I did it was by drawing the two stars, then using the two rail sweep. That's how I would do it, and that's how I obviously did do it. As soon as I can get decent weather to get outside and get to work, what I had planned on doing was I'd planned on carving that out of expanded foam and then painting it up and hanging it up on one of my sheds. And my wife wants a couple of small ones for her flower garden out there. So if I ever get to it, I'll shoot some video and show the completed project. So let's see. James Chisnell, have you had anything to do with easel by Inventables? Absolutely none, Jim. I'm sorry. I've been using Vectric software since day one. I don't know a thing about easel. Let's see. Mark, when using clipart in VCarve Pro 10, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the tool paths. I'm new to CNC. Thanks, Gary Clark. Okay, I will post a link. Well, there should be one already in the description box of this video. If not, I'll make sure to post it there as soon as we end the live stream. To a playlist of 3D carving for the absolute beginner using VCarve Pro. and Aspire, but mainly VCarve Pro. That will explain all of that. How to take the clip art, how to combine models, how to make a how to make a composite model with 4 or 5 different pieces of clip art and put them all together. And then get you over to the tool paths, how to calculate them, everything. The link is in the description of this video. If it's not right now, it will be as soon as we get finished with the live stream here. So let's see. Bob held to bridle, but you can change the start point and direction in Node Edit. Yes, you're absolutely right. But by making a direct copy, you don't have to do that. I know it's the same. So whichever. I mean, there is no best or better with a lot of these. Sometimes it's just whatever you're comfortable using. So long as you get the result that you're looking for, it's the right way. So, Hi, Mark. My first time live with you. I got Aspire 9.5, but I don't have a CNC yet. I'm learning the software to save files. Do you recommend an external hard drive? And that's from Eli Fuentes. You can use an external hard drive. I mean, it's not strictly speaking 100% necessary. I've got files all over the place. If you are creating a lot of stuff, sometimes an external hard drive would be a benefit, especially if you have a lot of models. But I have files on 3 separate computers right now. And you know what? Maybe an external hard drive that I could, take with me and plug into other computers might not be a bad idea. But, what can you say? Strictly speaking, I don't recommend one. I don't think it's necessary. But if you're going to do a lot of files, then yeah, it might be a good idea. Let's see. Mark, that's from Jeff over at Resorter66. How do you decide how high to make that vector for the 2-rail sweep? Good question, Jeff. Let me switch over here. And Dean Howard with the super chat. Thank you very much, Dean. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let me jump over here into Aspire. I should have loaded Aspire before I made that jump. Let's see. Jeff, I think you're talking about this profile right here and how I decided on the size. Basically, I knew how thick I wanted this, how tall I wanted the star to be. I wanted to try to get close to that 1.5 inches. And that brings up another point on how I chose the 1.4 inch thickness. I was going to cut this out of some of that polystyrene foam insulation you can get down at the big box store, and then paint it up and hang it outside. It's 2 inches thick, but it's also got a little bit of a coating on both sides. And I wanted to machine through that coating. So I figured machining, it's not 2 inches thick, it's 1.5 inches thick. I figured machining 10 thousandths off would machine through that coating, and I wouldn't be dealing with foam or plastic or whatever, foil, whatever kind of a coating they put on it. So I just made it 10 thousandths shorter than the thickness of the material. Then I doubled that 1.4 to give me the width because I wanted a proportional angle here. So I took the 1.4 inch thickness I wanted my model to be here, up here in the center, and I doubled that to get my width. And that gave me the profile. Again, you can adjust and play with this. If I were to have made this a little bit shorter, I could play with the profile here in the 3D view, go up into the properties, and I could change the model thickness here. But if you make the profile about approximately the size you want and then make it proportionate, it will basically figure itself out. Then you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. So I hope that answers that question. So let me get back over here to you guys. And again, thank you very much, Dean, for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. Let's see now here. Scroll back down and find the next questions. Okay, Dean Howard. Okay, wait a minute. Aaron Hansen. I would like to see something on the chisel toolpath. Not sure what you mean by chisel toolpath. Are you talking about the prism carving toolpath? I could get into that and do a tutorial on that. It's fairly simple. Let's see. Dean Howard, do you have a series or online learning for someone that just started CNC? Not as such. And I have kind of stayed away from getting specific on actually getting set up on the machine outside, simply because there are so many variables. There are so many machines. There are so many different controller software configurations and what have you. And this kind of dovetails into Wolfram Herzog's question: what software do you use to send the G code to your CNC machine? I use Mach 3, and I have had it from day one. I have no intention of ever upgrading to Mach 4. I just don't need it. I have the Mach 3 license. It works very well. So I'm not going to be jumping to Mach 4 at all. But Mach 3 is completely different from, say, UCCNC or Universal G-Code Sender or something like that. But yeah, I use Mach 3 and I'm going to stick with that. But setting up and running on my machine is completely different from somebody running, say, a Joe's Hybrid or a Laguna IQ or something like that. So I kind of try to stay away from that. But there are a few things that are in common. I do plan on doing a video coming up pretty soon. I've showed it in other videos, but I've never yet done a dedicated, now that you have your tool paths, this is how you save G-code, and this is how we take it on the machine and get set up. I'm going to be doing a short video for that. But hopefully that answers all those questions. Let's see. Resorter 66 says, so is that the width from the center to the points? No, sir, it's not. We're back to talking about that profile. That was just double the height of that profile so that it would keep that angle in proportion. The software is going to scale up or down to scale it up or down to get it to fit. But I was concerned with the height of that profile. Let's see. Harneo Media, Steve wants to know, can the same idea be used for curved shapes? It certainly can, Steve. And in fact, I'm going to, down the road, I've got a project coming up where I'm going to be using that technique with some curved shapes to kind of make some pretty neat effects and show you when that I get that video done. I've just got to wait on weather. I've got about 15 projects halfway done, and I can't wait. I can't paint. I can't, I can't fill. I can't paint. It's too wet. It's too humid. It's just crazy. So, eCabinets Tips and Tricks, which is an excellent channel, by the way. Go check him out here on the YouTubes. I'll put a link in the description below. I was able to model a star like yours by creating it in SketchUp, then importing the SKP file into VCarve. Yeah, that works. And, however it works for you, then perfect. Let's see. Leo Steger, I put my files in folders with the G-code, use the thumb drive with the same folders to store the G-code and take it to the machine. That's exactly how I do it. I have this little 4 gig thumb drive that is dedicated to, this does nothing but haul G-code back and forth. And so it works for me. Mike Smith, totally off topic, but what is Super Chat? Super Chat is something that's here within YouTube. You click the little $sign button over down at the bottom of the chat window, and you can make a donation to support the channel. And I don't talk about it much. I don't promote it. I don't know. I'm kind of funny about things like that. I know a lot of the YouTubers get on here and they say, oh, hit the super chat and here's a donate and here you can do this and go to that. I kind of look at it like panhandling. To me, it's just, I've always felt funny doing it. I have everything set up to do that. There are links in the description if you'd like, but I don't promote that kind of thing. I would much, if you feel like donating to the channel, I would much rather you head over to my website and purchase a t-shirt or a coffee mug. That way you're getting something for your hard-earned dollar too. So, okay, let's see. Eli Fuentes, what do you think about Avid CNC machines? Avid CNC is about 4 to 5 hours to the north of me, and I would love to go up and have a chat with those guys. I like their machines. If I had the room, I would be looking into an Avid CNC. Now, having said that, they are pricey. The setup that I would like to get would be about $15,000. And I, as a hobbyist, just cannot justify that. So, there's nothing really other than that to say. They're excellent machines. I know Dave Gatton has an Avid CNC, and I am jealous. Frank Howarth up in Portland, about 4 hours north of me, he has one. I would love to get my hands on an Avid CNC, which is why I'd like to go up and talk to him. But we'll see. Okay, let's see. Roger the Tinker would like to see your carving to finish. Yeah, if you're talking about that barn star, I'd like to get it done too. Again, what I was planning on doing was cutting that out of that insulation foam, that rigid insulation foam. And then, I don't know, I definitely would prime it before I painted, but the jury's still out on whether I would try to, put some sort of a, what is that, plumber's putty. It's dry, you mix it with water. I can't think of the name of it. It comes in a big canister, looks like flour, you mix it with water, and it's an inert paste, almost like a plaster. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, I was thinking about kind of coating it with that, sanding it, making it pretty, to kind of make it a little bit stronger than just foam. But yeah, when I actually go out and cut one out, I will ding dong sure post video on it. So, okay, let's see. Over 60 Crafter, Aaron Hansen, Durham's, that's the stuff. Thank you. That's the stuff. Over 60 Crafter, newbie question. Can I use my router table bits on my Shapeoko XXL? For instance, like the roundover bit and others that I use to make frames. Absolutely yes. There are two things to look out for. Number one, nothing that has a bearing on it. So if you have a roundover bit that's got a guide bearing, don't do it. Don't use that. You can get plunge point cutting roundover bits made for CNC, and they're not super expensive. I will put a link to the video I did. Let me write it down before I forget it. I did a video back in November or maybe January on adding a form tool to the tool database, and the form tool I added was a point cutting roundover bit. So let's see. Form tool. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video when it goes live. Also, what you got to watch out for is, does it have a cutter that goes all the way across the bottom of the bit? Now, you can still use a bit that doesn't have a cutter all the way across, but you have to ramp it in. I use a couple of bits that are that way. The bit I use to surface my spoil board is actually 1.25 inch straight mortising bit, and the cutter doesn't go all the way across the bottom of the bit. So you have to ramp in so it's gradually plunging into the material, and that front edge is cutting away the material. But yes, you can. You can use roundover bits. You can use keyhole bits. I mean, just about any bit you can use in a hand router, as long as it doesn't have a guide bearing on it. And watch out for that cutter along the bottom. That's all. But yeah, I've used spiral bits. I've used straight bits. I mean, all kinds of stuff like that. And they work very well. So let's see. Yeah, everybody, Durham's water putty. Grant's saying I've gessoed before painting it. You know, I've got some gesso in here. I haven't painted on canvas in quite a while. But okay, let's see. Yeah, Grant saying no, excuse me. I've just finished that. Yeah, Eli, the 5x10 with rotary axis is $16,550, shipped to California. I would have thought it would have been more expensive. That's another benefit. I can get hold of a trailer and drive up there and pick it up myself. You know, so because it's, like I said, 4 or 5 hours to the north of me. So, but I'd love to go up to Avid CNC and just walk around the shop and drool. So maybe one day, who knows? Maybe there'll be a Sunday Q&A run from my laptop from Avid's headquarters. Hey, Avid, call me. So, okay, we've been on here for about 30 minutes, and I don't see any more questions about the video. I will get the links that we talked about. There should be a link already for the 3D carving playlist for the absolute beginner. There should be a link to that already in the description. If it's not there, I will put it there. And I will put a link to the form tool video down in the description as well. Give me about 5 minutes after this is done. Also, go hit Dave Gatton's YouTube channel. He's doing a lot of very cool things with his Avid CNC Eli Fuentes. Hint, hint. Hit Dave Gatton's channel. Subscribe to him. He is my Obi-Wan. He's my guru. I am totally his fault. And I'll put a link to his channel down in the description as well. I want to thank everybody for spending some of your Sunday with me. Yeah, I will do that, Dave Matthews. Excellent point. Dave Gatton, over on his channel, is running the Coronavirus CNC Challenge. Now, this CNC challenge is for anybody with a CNC machine anywhere in the world. You'll find complete rules over there. Look for the coronavirus video. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. Thank you, Dave. That was an excellent idea. All right. Made a note to myself. He's running a coronavirus challenge. Since everybody's basically on lockdown, basically he wants to try to have some fun with this, as much fun as we possibly can. And just basically make something with your CNC router. Shoot it and post it on your YouTube channel. Send him a link, and he's making a very cool trophy. So, hit up Dave's channel. Hit up the Quarantine CNC Challenge. Sorry about that, Dave. Everybody, have a good day. Try to stay safe. Take care of yourselves and your family. And other than that, get out and make something cool. Go make some chips, y'all. Have a good one. Thank you very much again. Bye-bye.